President Lee Jae-myung and Chilean President Jose Antonio Kast have agreed to upgrade the Korea-Chile Free Trade Agreement and deepen cooperation on critical minerals such as lithium and copper. Lee is now in Argentina for the final leg of his South American tour. The Korean stock market staged a powerful rebound on Friday, jumping nearly 18% as the chip stocks rallied on the back of a sharp overnight surge in the U.S. semiconductors, reviving investor confidence. Scorching summer heat continues to grip South Korea, with heat wave advisories in place across to most of the country. And forecasters are warning that daytime highs above 35 degrees Celsius are likely to persist well into next week. President Lee Jae-myung and Chilean President Jose Antonio Kast have agreed to restart talks on upgrading the Korea-Chile Free Trade Agreement by reviving a joint committee that has been dormant for a decade. Our Blue House correspondent Yoon Jung-min starts us off.
The summit began with an official welcome at the presidential palace in Santiago for the South Korean first couple. President Lee was the first Korean president to visit Chile in 11 years. Upgrading the bilateral free trade agreement was a focal point of Thursday's summit between President Lee Jae-myung and his Chilean counterpart, Jose Antonio Kast. Chile was the first country to sign an FTA with South Korea in 2004, and the deal hasn't been updated since then.
양국은 한칠레 FTA 자유무역위원회를 10년 만에 재가동하여 통상 투자 현안을 점검하고 호혜적인 한칠레 FTA 개선 등을 포함한 양국의 통상관계 증진 방안에 대해서 협의해 나가기로 하였습니다.
We agreed to resume the Korea-Chile Free Trade Commission, last held 10 years ago, to seek a roadmap to modernize and upgrade bilateral ties to a higher level.
They also held in-depth discussions over major economic frameworks, including the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership and the Pacific Alliance. The leaders also agreed to promote partnership in critical mineral supply chains, for which an MOU was signed for cooperation on mineral resources.
세계 1위 구리 생산국이자 1위 리튬 매장국인 주요 자원 부국 칠레와 반도체, 배터리 등 첨단 산업 선도국인 우리 한국은 핵심 광물 공급망 구축에 있어서 자연스럽고 이상적인 파트너임이 분명합니다.
On infrastructure, Lee and Kast also agreed to further cooperate on the Chacao Bridge building project, Chile's flagship national project, in which a South Korean builder is taking part. MOUs were signed for cooperation on Antarctic research and maritime safety.
Chile aims to make inroads into the South Pole. I once again invite President Lee to visit the South Pole, together with me. As for cooperation on icebreakers, I hope to contribute more for greater technological advancement.
Cooperation on science and technology, people-to-people exchanges, and K-culture will be further promoted. He asked his Chilean counterpart for unwavering support for resolving North Korea's nuclear issues, and Kast agreed to work together for peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. On Friday, President Lee will hold a summit with Argentine President Javier Milei over in Buenos Aires, the final leg of his three-nation trip to South America. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News, Santiago.
After several days of sharp declines, Korean stocks posted a historic double-digit rebound today. Optimism from an overnight rally on Wall Street spilled over into local chip heavyweights. Kim Jun-hong has more.
Korea's stock market saw a sharp double-digit gain on Friday, rebounding from days of steep losses. The benchmark KOSPI closed 17.91% higher at 6,595.45. The index gained more than 1,000 points in a single day, setting a new record by surpassing the 11.95% rise seen during the 2008 global financial crisis. Trading opened with a sharp rally, prompting buy-side sidecars on both the KOSPI and Kosdaq minutes after the opening bell. The tech-heavy Kosdaq also saw a sharp rise, closing 11.63% higher. Overnight gains in U.S. semiconductor shares spilled over into Korean stocks, with Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix leading the way. The two closed 26% and 29% up respectively. The turnaround followed Microsoft's solid earnings overnight, which eased concerns over the durability of AI investment. Rebound buying fueled the rally, with foreign investors returning as heavy buyers after weeks of selling.
Friday's rally came as investors returned to an oversold market. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix had suffered sharp declines in recent sessions, but as some of the concerns eased, bargain buying quickly gained momentum.
The KOSPI has undergone sharp fluctuations since climbing above the 9,300 mark in late June. After 3 straight days of heavy selling sent the index down to the 5,500 level by Thursday's close, Friday's gains brought a dramatic reversal. Analysts say next month's regulatory changes for overseas leveraged products could help reduce market volatility.
Hong Kong-listed leveraged ETFs tied to Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix fueled foreign buying in the Korean market, but also amplified volatility. New leverage caps taking effect next week are expected to reduce ETF-driven intraday swings.
Still, some warn it is too soon to call full recovery in semiconductor investment sentiment. Concerns over the sustainability of AI spending and an uncertain U.S. economic outlook are expected to leave the market's near-term direction unclear. Kim Junong, Arirang News.
The average daily foreign exchange trading volume hit another record high in the second quarter this year. According to the Bank of Korea on Friday, average daily foreign exchange turnover during the April to June period averaged $112.4 billion. It rose about 18% from the first quarter, marking the highest quarterly level since the central bank began compiling data in 2008. Now, an official said that increased foreign investor stock transactions and $1 exchange rate volatility contributed to the surge. And Korea posted a broad economic rebound in June, with output, consumer spending, and investment all climbing together in a sign of improving domestic activity. Park Jun-han has the details.
The Korean economy delivered a broadly positive set of triple growth numbers in June, with production, consumption, and investment all rising for the first time in 3 months. According to data released by the Ministry of Data and Statistics on Friday, overall industrial production jumped 2.3% from the previous month. This marks the sharpest monthly increase in 6 years, rebounding from May's fall of 0.3% due to a base effect in semiconductor production. June's growth was largely driven by a 4.5% rebound in semiconductor output and a massive 15.4% jump in automobile production. The ministry explained that the auto sector benefited from the normalization of parts supply and strong demand driven by the launch of new models of car. Retail sales, a key indicator of private consumption, also climbed 2.7%. This was backed by robust automobile purchases and special promotional events by major tech companies like Samsung Electronics and LG Electronics, which boosted demand for home appliances and computers.
June's industrial activity saw a 6.4% increase in production from the previous month, driven largely by a 15.4% jump in automobile output as parts supply normalized. This not only boosted production, but also lifted retail sales of passenger vehicles and increased facility investment in the auto sector.
Facility investment also grew 5.8% compared to the previous month. The increase was largely due to heavy investments in machinery for semiconductor manufacturing and transportation equipment. With all 3 major sectors showing a steady rebound, the positive momentum could revitalize broader domestic industries moving forward. However, if external uncertainties continue to persist and escalate further, the positive output seen in June could lose momentum and negatively affect the second half of the year. Park Jun-han, Arirang News.
South Korea is sweltering under one of its most intense heat waves on record. The southeastern city of Gyeongsang reached 41.4 degrees Celsius today, the highest temperature ever recorded here in the country. Jung Hae-rim reports.
Scorching sunlight beats down as people seek shade and cool drinks to escape the relentless heat. In Gyeongsangnam-do Province, the temperature climbed to 41.4 degrees Celsius on Friday afternoon. It was the highest temperature ever recorded at the country's 97 main climate observation stations in 122 years of modern weather records. The city has now endured temperatures above 40 degrees for 3 consecutive days. Temperatures approached 39 degrees in parts of Busan. The heat in the port city is particularly unusual, as the scene normally helps moderate temperatures. But strong westerly winds have carried hot air from inland areas toward the city.
Around late July and early August, the North Pacific High typically expands, while another high-pressure system develops above it, creating what is often called a double heat dome. If high sea temperatures persist, Korea is likely to see more intense heat waves and tropical nights, and we expect both to increase this year.
Prime Minister Han Song-suk has ordered ministries and local authorities to remain on high alert, warning that conditions could become even more severe next week. She called for stronger protection for vulnerable groups and outdoor workers, wider access to cooling shelters, and close monitoring of water supplies in drought-affected areas. The heat is expected to expand westward from early next week. Seoul could reach 37 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, with high humidity making it feel another 1 or 2 degrees hotter. One major variable is Typhoon Dolphin, which is moving north across East Asia. Depending on its path, the storm could either intensify the heat by drawing hot easterly winds across the peninsula or bring the heat wave to an end while posing the risk of heavy rain and strong winds. Until its path becomes clearer, authorities are urging people to avoid outdoor activities during the hottest hours of the day and stay alert for signs of heat-related illness. Jung Hae-rim, Arirang News.
The National Assembly on Friday passed a revision to the Criminal Procedure Act, abolishing the direct investigative powers of prosecutors. The revision eliminates a prosecutor authority to undertake investigations directly, including those that are supplementary. Now, instead, they'll be allowed to request supplementary investigations to judicial police officers. The bill passed the plenary session with 175 in favor, 2 against, and 1 abstention. The Conservative People Power Party boycotted the vote after opposing the legislation through a filibuster. And this marks the biggest overhaul of South Korea's criminal justice system in more than 70 years, as the law has remained unchanged since 1954. U.S. President Donald Trump claims Hamas has agreed to disarm, but the Middle East stays on edge, with Iran attacking oil tankers that were trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz under U.S. military escort. Our Kim Bo-kyung has the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump says Hamas has agreed to fully disarm, describing the move as a historic breakthrough toward lasting peace in Gaza. In a post on Truth Social, Trump announced that the Board of Peace, an organization he established to oversee Gaza's reconstruction, had reached an agreement with Hamas and other groups in the enclave for their complete disarmament. Trump called the deal a monumental step that would pave the way for Gaza to be governed by a new Palestinian administration working alongside the Board of Peace to rebuild the territory. Hamas confirmed the agreement, marking a major shift after years of rejecting calls to disarm. A senior Hamas official told the BBC that they have agreed to completely disarming Gaza, as the new National Committee for the Administration of Gaza will now oversee the registration, storage, and management of all weapons. This organization will become the sole authority permitted to possess or control arms in Gaza, while Hamas's negotiators said Israel will have no role in the disarmament process. However, Israel has yet to officially endorse the agreement. U.S. officials told reporters that President Trump would be very disappointed if Israel failed to uphold to the agreement. Meanwhile, when it comes to fighting between the U.S. and Iran, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed on Friday that it had attacked 2 oil tankers attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz under U.S. military air escort. According to the official statement, the vessels were hit and halted in the early hours after ignoring warnings, and that 4 other tankers rapidly changed course and turned back. This latest confrontation over the waterway follows both sides firing barrages of missiles on Thursday, with the U.S. military saying it launched attacks against military command centers and missile facilities after Iran fired missiles at U.S. bases in the region. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
As K-pop continues to dominate global music festivals, attention is now turning to whether Korea can create an iconic event of its own. To tell us more, we are joined by our culture correspondent, Jo Young-eun. Welcome back, Young-eun.
Hello, Dami.
So, Young-eun, tell us more about Korea's efforts to create or establish itself as a global K-pop hub.
Right, Dami, while millions of fans travel overseas to attend major music festivals, Korea has yet to establish its own signature one.
Right.
So now with the country's first K-pop music arena nearing completion, officials hope to change that. Take a look.
As Blackpink headlines Coachella, Stray Kids take over Lollapalooza Chicago, and BTS draws massive crowds in Seoul, K-pop continues to dominate some of the world's biggest stages. But while fans travel the world for major music festivals, Korea has never had a venue designed to bring global fans to the birthplace of K-pop. That is set to change with Seoul Arena, construction now well underway in the capital's Dobong-gu district. Scheduled to open in the first half of next year, South Korea's first large-scale venue dedicated to K-pop music will seat around 18,000 people with a maximum capacity of 28,000.
Once completed, Seoul Arena is expected to become more than just a concert venue. It aims to be a global hub for live entertainment, attracting major international events and music fans from around the world.
The festival, called Phenomenon, will be held from December 2nd through the 12th next year at Seoul Arena and Kintex in Gyeongsangnam-do Province. Combining the words fan and phenomenon to convey the meaning fan-created phenomenon, the event will include K-pop concerts featuring artists from the rosters of SMYG, JYP, and HYBE, and a fan awards ceremony.
Simply put, Phenomenon is a large-scale K-culture festival that brings together the strengths of Korea's diverse cultural industries.
According to the Cultural Ministry, the event is expected to attract around 520,000 visitors, including 200,000 overseas tourists, generating an estimated 1 trillion won, or $690 million in economic impact.
Our goal is not only to strengthen Korea's cultural industry, but also to bring young people around the world closer together through culture. That's why the 4 major K-pop companies have joined forces for the first time.
Many overseas fans say a large-scale festival featuring multiple K-pop artists would be a strong reason to visit Korea.
But the venue, I think they can make, I don't know how it's gonna look, but I think it should be big enough for at least hold, because K-pop fans are like a lot in here. But I do think it will attract more people, like, because I know a lot of people come here only to have concerts, because it's maybe.
Yeah. I think so, yeah, because I was actually talking to my husband. I was like, hey, look, there's a Korean Coachella happening. Like, would you be interested? So we're planning on like maybe coming, but depending on where the stadium is. And
as Seoul Arena nears completion, expectations are growing that Korea can turn its global K-pop popularity into a sustainable concert tourism industry.
So, Young-eun, in your report, you mentioned Seoul Arena as the centerpiece of this entire project. But Korea is already one of the world's biggest K-pop markets. So why is building a dedicated venue like this so significant to begin with?
Well, that's because Korea's global success in K-pop hasn't always been matched by the concert infrastructure in the country. So most major performances in Korea have so far relied on multi-purpose stadiums originally designed for sports or other events. Without a permanent destination where fans can experience K-pop year-round, Korea cannot provide visitors with dedicated K-pop content beyond concerts. Industry experts say Seoul Arena fills a long-standing gap, allowing Korea to host bigger productions more efficiently while strengthening its position as a destination for both K-pop and international music performances.
K-pop has built an enormous global fan base, but when those fans actually come to Korea, there's surprisingly little for them to experience. As a result, the economic impact remains quite limited. What we need is a dedicated space where K-pop fans can fully immerse themselves in K-pop culture.
And the Presidential Committee on the Popular Culture Exchange is calling phenomenon the Korean version of Coachella. What makes this more than just another, festival?
Well, the goal is to build an entire tourism ecosystem around K-pop, combining concert with other K-culture experiences. So Korea welcomed nearly 19 million foreign visitors last year, and K-content was one of the biggest reasons for their visit. Coachella draws some 250,000 people and pumps more than $700 million into California annually. So such festivals generate economic value not only through ticket sales, but also through nearby local attractions as visitors stay for several days. Moreover, while the K-pop industry has become increasingly fragmented, phenomenon marks the first time the Big Four agencies have formally come together under a single event. If successful, it would represent a shift from exporting K-pop overseas to bringing global fans to Korea, creating new opportunities for both tourism and cultural industries.
Indeed. Young-eun, thank you for the coverage tonight.
Thank you.
And K-pop is becoming more than something fans simply watch and enjoy. These days, so-called idol experience studios are gaining popularity among foreign tourists. Now, visitors can try K-pop style makeup, hair, and outfits, and pose professional photos all in one place. Our Park Jae-ryung has more.
With polished makeup, a stage outfit, and idol-style poses, she looks ready for a K-pop performance. But this is not a K-pop idol. It's a visitor from the United States. Her transformation begins with professional hair and makeup, creating a polished, camera-ready look.
Western makeup usually is a lot more dramatic, especially with the eyes and the lips. Korean makeup, I feel, is more natural, so it kind of brings out the inner beauty more so.
The studio offers K-pop-inspired concepts. The outfits were designed in-house, drawing inspiration from the visual styles of groups including aespa, Hearts to Hearts, and New Jeans. Around 100 people sign up for the experience each month, and around 20 or 30 of them are foreign visitors.
Many foreign tourists discover our studio through social media. They have a great time trying on different outfits and really enjoy the experience.
After completing her hair and makeup, she changes into a stage outfit and steps in front of the camera. With guidance from the photographer, she tries out a series of idol-style poses.
It feels almost like a dream. I've always wanted to look a certain way, but I've always lacked the makeup skills for it. So when I get to see myself like this, it feels like a fairy tale almost.
After the shoot, she selects her favorite images, which are professionally retouched and printed. The finished photos become a personalized souvenir of her K-pop transformation. Today, for a few hours, this visitor was no longer just a K-pop fan. She was a K-pop star. Experiences like this are creating new ways for international fans to engage with K-pop. But experts say turning them into established tourism products will require more than just their current popularity.
To help idol experiences become lasting tourism products, the government and major agencies should work together on stabilizing prices and easier access for foreign visitors.
K-pop fans no longer have to settle for just watching their idols from afar. With the right makeup, hair, and stage, they can step into the spotlight themselves. Park Jae-ryung, Arirang News.
The heat wave is still going strong across the country. Earlier today, Yangsan in Gyeongsangnam-do Province soared to 41.4 degrees Celsius, setting a new all-time national temperature record. Reaching the 40-degree mark for 3 consecutive days is something that's never happened before in Korea's recorded weather history. And Yangsan could climb back to around 40 degrees tomorrow. All that daytime heat isn't going anywhere after sunset, so make sure you're staying cool both day and night. Tomorrow, UV levels will climb into the very high category in many areas, and ozone levels will be bad nationwide. So try to avoid outdoor activities as much as you can and stay hydrated. As for temperatures, Seoul will start the day at 26 degrees Celsius, Daejeon 25, and Daegu 27 degrees. Then by the afternoon, Seoul will get up to 34 degrees, Daegu 37 degrees, Busan 38 degrees. Early next week, the most intense heat will spread into western regions, with Seoul soaring to 37 degrees. Now here's a look at the weather around the world.
That is all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.